Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to Weather Out West, the hour-long show where we showcase what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. I'm meteorologist Adam Claiborne. Today, we will begin in Portland, where yesterday we had a system move through, producing a lot of heavy rain, and we're still dealing with some of the river flooding because of that. However, for today, otherwise, it looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet afternoon with just a few scattered showers as temperatures have cooled back down into the 40s. Meteorologist Rod Hill has the details.
From the Rose City on a Friday, I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. Well, the atmospheric river came and went pretty much as expected. We had about a 24-hour rain event that broke up last night. We picked up around 2 inches of rain, which is what the models were showing, a little bit more, closer to 3 down in Eugene, which is what the models were showing. And really the lingering concern on this Friday, and the reason for our continued KGW weather impact alert, is for river flooding for our individual rivers, most of which, not all, but most of which will drop back down to flood stage and below as we go closer to the noon hour today. We've got really pretty quiet weather. There's not much wind out there west of 5. Early morning numbers have been in the 40s here in town. Here's the rainfall map from what ended last night. 2.10 at PDX, actually a record for yesterday's date. And my colleague Chris McGinnis did a quick record search. Guess what? PDX records go back to 1941. Yesterday was only the 25th time that we've had 2 inches of rain or more in a calendar day. Doesn't happen that often. 5.64 fell in Tillamook. We had about 3 in Eugene, as I mentioned, and then less up north of the Columbia. By the time we got up to Kelso-Longview, it was 1.49. So I mentioned the impact alert continues today, but mainly for the river flood, high water areas that are producing the potential detours in some locations. But if you're just hanging out in the city of Portland today, you are fine. We have some breaks, scattered showers. Roadways are relatively dry, actually, in between the scattered showers. The Weather Service right now has in green that flood watch up into tomorrow for the river levels. There's the atmospheric river. It's down south of us, moving into California. You can plainly see up here the scattered shower flow coming in with cumulus clouds. That's a mix of some breaks and scattered showers. We do have snow levels where they belong, below Cascade Passes. This is Timberline this morning. Remember they had about a foot of snow yesterday, and then it rained, lost a lot of it. Then the snow showers have returned, and today there could be 3 to 6 inches of new snow down to Cascade Pass level during the day. There's one of our sun breaks. Boy, this is really pretty this morning. Enough sun to turn the Pacific blue down in Lincoln City. Parts of Lincoln County, by the way, Newport, which is just south of Lincoln City, had about 8 straight hours yesterday of 50-mile-per-hour plus wind gust. Despite all the wind warnings that come and go along the Oregon coast, we don't really have 8 consecutive hours of 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts very often. We had it yesterday. And that has caused some problems as well. All right, early morning pretty shot of the sun turning the Columbia River yellow, and there's the downtown cityscape. Futurecast is just going to show in blue the snow showers down to 3,000 feet and the scattered showers. We have a shower threat continuing for the weekend, both days, Saturday and Sunday. No organized big storms between now and Christmas Day. So we're clearly going to be quieting down after back-to-back weeks of seeing atmospheric river flows. 40s on the west side today, 30s out east. And with that said, I'll get you to your 7-day, which, as you know, now includes Christmas Day. 47 this afternoon. The impact alert for, yes, the river flooding. 47 tomorrow, fewer showers than today. Pretty good day, a lot of dry time. Rain picks up somewhat on Sunday. Generally speaking, all of these days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or certainly Sunday through Tuesday, up to, but not really more than 1/4 inch of rain expected. By Christmas Eve day, more of a sunbreak, few scattered showers. Christmas Day, 47.
All right, not quite as active there in Portland, and we are starting to see things tone down a little bit, at least over towards Boise, but we're still talking about more rain to come for areas that are going to be in the lower elevations, and then for the higher elevations, there will be a decent amount of snow on the way. There are winter storm warnings out that way across parts of southern Idaho. Hector Mendoza has your forecast.
Well, that active weather pattern is going to continue here for today as we have several more first alert weather days coming our way. We're going to get a bit of a break as we get towards Saturday, but let's take a look at the satellite and radar picture. This cold front is going to spark a lot more of those showers here through the afternoon, as the Treasure Valley hasn't really seen much of that here for this morning, but we'll continue to see that here through the afternoon, with the Magic Valley and the Central Mountains continuing that flow of more rain and more snow showers. Now, as we look at some of the higher elevation areas, we are expecting to see the heaviest snowfall coming above 7,000 feet, and we're also expecting to see a lot more of that wet weather coming along here to the Magic Valley and further on east before we see a little bit more of that start to become a little bit more widespread through the Treasure Valley. And because of that snow, we are going to anticipate a little bit more of these heavier snowfall, so that's why a winter storm warning is in place in some of these areas. You can see a light shade of some blue underneath there in certain areas of the Sawtooths. That's what we're also expecting to see a little bit more of some avalanche warnings, and that is going to continue here through today and then through tomorrow morning, as we could see some of the backcountry see a little bit more of that here through the rest of the day today. Winds will also pick up with some of the cold front, with that cold front that comes in, so a wind advisory stays in place through the afternoon. Wind gusts get up to 55 miles an hour. We could see some wind gusts there in some of those mountain spots get up to 45 miles an hour, so that's something that we're going to keep and pay attention to heading in through the weekend. But as we get past today, as we'll see some of that rain through most of our day today, a lot of that makes its way further on into the east, and we get a break from some of the action that we've seen the past couple of days. Dry conditions. We're also going to see a lot more of that sunshine here through our Saturday. So with some of the clearing, we are going to see that morning temperatures are going to really start to climb down. Upper 20s is what we're expecting here in Boise, staying below freezing across many of those valley spots. And then we're going to anticipate those temperatures to stay into those low to mid 40s here for tomorrow. And then as we get on towards Saturday, or towards late Saturday and heading into early Sunday, we'll see the return of more of those showers as that atmospheric river will continue. Another system comes in, and that's what's going to bring more showers in terms of snow in the mountains, and will continue pretty active all the way through Christmas time here as we get towards our Thursday, and we start to see a little bit more of that start to diminish, possibly as we head on towards Friday. But looking at the 7-day forecast here for our Twin Falls friends there, and for some folks there in the Magic Valley, we'll see again a chance for some early morning snow showers for the Magic Valley. That comes in as just a very light amount, not much accumulates. It doesn't stick around too much, as we will continue with some of that sunshine through the afternoon. Rain returns, and then those temperatures climb up into the mid 50s by Tuesday, and then we'll continue with that unsettled pattern with some of those mild temperatures that continue through Christmas. And then looking at the 7-day forecast, pretty similar conditions here in Boise and through the Treasure Valley, but we're going to see some colder temperatures coming along here through the morning. We also have a light chance of some early morning snow showers that could be possible here in the Treasure Valley, but it's most likely in some of those Magic Valley areas in terms of some of the valley spots that could see a likelihood of some of that early morning snow. But as we look at Sunday and Monday, those chances will increase. Temperatures will be into the low 50s as we head towards the beginning of the week. By Christmas Eve, temperatures start to reach the mid 50s, so we'll warm up just a little bit more. We have some showery conditions, and winds will also start to pick up. We'll expect some windy condition for Wednesday afternoon. For Christmas, staying pretty mild, so not anticipating a white Christmas here for the Treasure Valley.
All right, and as you heard there, Hector was talking about some of the milder temperatures, and usually too, especially when you get some of these atmospheric river events, they are going to be warmer systems that hold more moisture in the atmosphere, so you produce more precipitation, but those snow levels are going to be higher, so you don't see as much snow. And Boise saw its third warmest November on record. This is putting ski resorts way behind schedule, and they're usually open by this point in the season. However, some recent accumulations are giving skiers and snowboarders too, and resorts overall hope that the ski season could begin soon.
This is completely abnormal.
It's been a waiting game this year for Idaho ski resorts.
It's been a slow start to the season,
with Boise seeing the third warmest November on record and a later than average snow season.
We haven't been able to safely open the mountain for skiing.
Tamarack has lifts running to the mid-lodge for food, drinks, and holiday fun, but not for skiers and snowboarders.
Usually that December 7th, the first Saturday or the second Saturday in December, is pretty consistent with what we see in terms of substantial snowfall. So this is a little bit later.
And at Bogus, the coach lift and the terrain park are open on weekends. That's just one of the 10 lifts that the resort has to offer.
It's not what everybody wants, but it's as much as can be delivered. And so that's, we're doing what we can.
Snow finally made an appearance on Thursday in the Treasure Valley, and it's bringing a little bit of hope to the slopes here at Bogus. You can see behind me the snow is coming down, and some of those bare spots are finally starting to get covered.
It's snowing right now, so we'll see what this brings us.
And temperatures were cold enough to make snow again.
We actually were able to make snow last night.
Bogus was ready to handle the late start due to a snow secure pilot program, which allowed Bogus to freeze snow from last year and put it on the slopes this year.
Snow Secure is an all-weather solution where you store snow from the season prior under the company's proprietary storage system or insulated panels.
Through Snow Secure, snowmaking, and some natural luck, resorts say they're still hoping to fully open before 2026.
Despite the weather and all conditions, we remain committed to operating everything and anything that we can for our customers who are hungry to get back on snow and get back with their communities.
Both Tamarack and Bogus say that they are hoping to fully open within the next few weeks, but playing it by ear on how much snow they can make as well as how much snow continues to come down. Reporting in Bogus, Abby Wilt, Idaho's News Channel 7.
All right, really exciting news there. Okay, now we're getting ready to hit a break. But when we get back, we are going to check out what's happening in the state of Washington and have forecasts for both Seattle and Spokane. Keep it right here. All right, welcome back, everyone. Well, just before the break, we were talking about Boise and how they had a winter storm warning, but yet a slow start to the ski season over that way. Similar story over towards Seattle as well, as we've been noticing a lot of warmer temperatures as well as more of the rain as opposed to snow falling across the Cascades and the Olympics. Things are changing though. We do have a winter storm warning that's going to be out, and that will help to put down quite a bit of snow up across the mountains. Meteorologist Ashley Ruiz has your forecast.
Hey there, a very happy Friday to you. I'm King 5 meteorologist Ashley Ruiz from Seattle, Washington. And we have more rain headed our way, but it's not going to be as heavy, not going to be as widespread, but we still have rain. That's going to add to our rain gauges as well as to some of our rivers. Going to be quite blustery through the weekend, but with our snow levels coming way down to about 1,500 feet to 2,000 feet, give or take, we're expecting some heavy mountain snow. So a lot of the precipitation will stay up in the mountains instead of flowing downstream and filling up our rivers, leading to river flooding. We're dodging showers over the weekend with more mountain snow, and then next week we're trending cooler. But most of the precipitation with that atmospheric river is now to the south of us, but we're still going to get a couple of systems just passing through the area and through the region over the weekend. You see just bringing us more rain, potentially locally heavy at times. Into Sunday, same goes. You see we really don't get much in the way of a break from the rain until maybe Tuesday. For now, it's looking like Tuesday may be one of the drier days. And by Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, still some uncertainties, but we have rain in the forecast for now. It's just how much. We could have one system moving in and bringing us more rain over the area Wednesday and into Thursday. So we'll watch that for you carefully. But in the meantime, temperatures are trending close to where they should be this time of year. Our average high is about 46. We're a little warmer by Monday by a couple of degrees, but then by the middle half of next week, snow levels look to stay on the low side. And this morning, we're waking up to fresh snow atop Hurricane Ridge. You see that there? We have lots of snow just covering the mountain there. And then at Paradise, fresh snow, and then some of us seeing some sun breaks in the mix. And Seattle, you can see it's clear as day in terms of no rain, no visibility issues, but still we have some precipitation falling. And in the mountains, this is Snoqualmie Pass, and you see things are moving okay. We're not seeing any major issues, but falling snow and likely going to get a little heavy at times. So there is a winter storm warning in place for pretty much the entire Cascade Range in western Washington and Washington general through 4 o'clock Saturday. 1 to 2 feet of snow potentially at Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass, but our higher elevations will get the most per usual. So that is great news for skiers and snowboarders, especially working on that snowpack. Hopefully we can get more ski resorts open, more slopes open just in time for Christmas. Highs today in the mid 40s, going to be gusty, and then tonight and into the overnight hours, mid and upper 30s, so going to be quite chilly. And then for our Saturday, we'll have sun breaks, we'll have rain at times, potentially some heavier rain building late Saturday night and into Sunday. I'll show you on the Futurecast in a minute, but Saturday going to be pretty similar, also going to be on the blustery side. So here we go, Futurecast showing into the afternoon, most of the rain is to the west, south, and to the north of Seattle, and then east going to be in the mountains going to fall as snow. Then we get into Friday afternoon, sun breaks, passing showers, and then just through the weekend it's off and on, but potentially some heavier snow building overnight and into Saturday. Hence that's why we have that winter storm warning in place through 4 o'clock on Saturday. And you see it just continues, possibly some pockets of moderate to heavy rain falling over essentially Puget Sound southward and then closer to the coast as we head through the day, more so Saturday night and into Sunday. Through Saturday morning, you see rain totals look to be maybe a tenth of an inch up to half of an inch, but watch what happens. We get some of that heavier rain Saturday night and into Sunday, and this might be a little on the high side, but the potential is certainly there. Maybe about 1 inch or so for Seattle, and then higher totals to the south and to the southwest. So looking closer toward Hood Canal. That flood watch continues for King County southward in western Washington through Saturday morning, just because runoff that could start to fill our creeks, streams, and rivers, as we well know. But don't forget that debris flow and landslide risk will continue until further notice at this point. So once again, we'll have highs in the 40s, where we should have our highs this time of year. Just about daily rain chances and mountain snow.
All right, farther east along I-90, we are seeing a relatively quiet day in Spokane. Cool and sunny conditions, but the pattern remains unsettled all the way through Christmas, meaning there could be more rain and yes, maybe even snow on the way too. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick has your forecast.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington, and first things first, seeing sunshine in the region today. That is a great sight, even though it feels maybe a little bit cooler than we would like it to be. After all the high winds we got from Monday through last night, finally getting some sunshine, finally seeing those winds calm down at least slightly, though a breeze is still making things feel a little bit cooler than maybe it should be with a sunny day ahead of us. But the mountain snow is back, which is generally good news. I know all of our mountains and ski resorts want the snow. Just the drivers and travelers across the state, maybe not so much. Just be cautious if heading over Snoqualmie Pass is part of your travel plans for the holiday. These regions of the Cascades are still under winter storm warnings until 4 p.m. on Saturday, but no alerts necessary for eastern Washington or North Idaho, at least not today, since it does appear that most of our snow and precipitation is finished for a bit. Like I said, it's actually just good to see the snow at the mountain level. 8 inches of fresh snow at Schweitzer Mountain. They are the only ski resort that's open this Friday. Others still waiting for a little bit more snow to give us some healthier bases. Some power outages are still affecting the Silver Valley. Meanwhile, Snoqualmie Pass at least has that snow on the side of the road where it has been just snowing constantly all day. Nothing terribly heavy, but enough snow right at Snoqualmie Pass's summit that it is looking wet and slushy and could be slippery for some drivers. So those will want to be cautious traveling back and forth between Seattle or Spokane through the holiday. Cold front yesterday gave us another bout of high winds. It was another 50-mile-per-hour wind that we experienced last night. Thankfully, that has eased quite a bit today, leaving us with just kind of a more normal December day. High temperatures upper 30s and low 40s. That will be commonplace for the remainder of the forecast between now and Christmas Day. That's still above average, though, by about 7 degrees in Spokane, so we'll call it about 5 to 8 degrees above normal, at least for now. The weekend's the same, about 40 degrees. Some chances for snow or a wintry mix both Saturday and Sunday. For now, if we're going to get snow on Saturday, it is a light snow. It would be a dusting, if anything, though our modeling does pop something between about 6 and 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. So maybe a light dusting of snow, but really it's just the mountain snow that will be a bit more continuous for areas like Lookout Pass, for areas like Snoqualmie Pass and the Cascades. So the mountain snow is way more consistent than any low elevation snow that we'll see. Beyond that, it's just all unsettled from here. Like to use the word unsettled when nothing specific really jumps out of the page or jumps out of the forecast at us, especially from Spokane's perspective. Yeah, there's this large storm off the coast, but nothing looked terribly significant on any one given day between today and Christmas Day. But there certainly was a chance on any given day. So we use the term unsettled to really highlight that you're going to see chance snow, chance rain snow, chance showers, or chance wintry mix every single day from Saturday through Christmas Day. It'll largely break down as rain during the day and maybe some snow at night.
So you're saying there's a chance, right? Okay, so Dungeness crabbing season is a major economic boost to Oregon. How one retired professor has gotten pretty good at predicting how the season will go, even 4 years in advance. Keep it right here. Thanks for joining us again, everyone. So let's talk about Dungeness crab season. The season officially began this week down in Oregon and California. There's one Oregon researcher who has a pretty good idea about how it's going to go, too. Take a look.
Crab season is big business in Oregon, pulling in around $68 million worth of crab each year.
They open the crab season when the crabs are fat enough.
And with an industry dependent on big numbers, that's where Dr. Alan Shanks comes in. For 25 years, he's been studying baby crabs, or megalopi. No bigger than a dime, but packed full of data.
And so basically what I've been doing is measuring how many of those guys come back each year.
He tracks their return using a simple light trap made out of a 5-gallon jug.
Like so many animals, they're attracted to light. You know, it's just like the moths on your porch, they're attracted to light. These guys are attracted to light.
It takes about 4 years for a megalopi to grow into a full adult. If the babies come back in big numbers, it doesn't necessarily mean a big season. Many of them never make it. But when smaller numbers return, their odds skyrocket because there's less competition and less cannibalism from older crabs.
When there's very few of them that get here, and those tend to be during strong El Nino years, then the chances that these little baby crabs are going to grow up to be an adult and enter the fishery is much, much, much better than in a year when you get 3 million of them landing.
Regularly tracking how many come into his trap lets Shank predict the size of a future season.
If there's not a marine heat wave during the summer that the crabs are on the bottom, then yes, I can get to be, the long-term average is about plus or minus 12%.
So looking at 2021 numbers, for this season, he's anticipating around 15 million pounds. That's a little less than an average year in Oregon, which is just over 18 million.
The problem, though, is that it was a marine heat wave. And so it's damn good chance that it's going to be higher than that. But how much higher, I don't know.
Those heat waves are getting more frequent, he says. The warmer waters essentially create more food for the crabs and less cannibalism and competition. A reminder that the future of Oregon's most valuable fishery depends not only on the adult crabs, but the baby ones drifting back to shore.
All right, when we get back, everyone, we're going to head away from the coast and heading into the Mountain West, where we are going to talk about your forecast for Denver, plus we'll head into the desert Southwest for Phoenix. We'll talk about what's ahead as we head into the Christmas week after this. All right, thanks for being here with us, everyone. We are going to be heading up into the Mountain West and talking about the forecast for Denver, which, believe it or not, could be up near that 70-degree mark here as we head into your Friday afternoon. Kind of breezy and some dry conditions too. That's going to create some issues. We're going to have a quiet trend though as we head on into that Christmas week time. Meteorologists Kathy Sabin as well as Katie LaSalle have the details.
Hello from Denver, Colorado. I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. We've issued a weather impact alert for today for another round of dangerous, damaging winds. We've seen an above average temperature trend that looks to continue for at least the next 7 to 10 days with a dominant ridge of high pressure over the region, which is keeping the storm track to the north. Now, over the top of the ridge, we've seen winds increasing out of the northwest, and there have been little weather systems that have moved into the state, bringing a little bit of snow, but a whole lot of wind, extreme wind to the foothills. We've had gusts in excess of 100 miles per hour. Power outages, power lines down, trees down, power poles snapped, a scenario that may play out again today as the gradient tightens between the high pressure area over us and the low pressure area just to our north. So a fire weather warning starts at 5 a.m. today, includes much of the Front Range, including Castle Rock, Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, and Greeley for extremely gusty conditions and dry conditions, which creates a fire weather scenario. High wind watch out for the foothills will continue throughout the day as well. So they're suggesting if you don't have to travel at the base of the foothills or over some of the higher passes, best not to. We have gusts in excess of 60, 70, even 80 miles per hour possible today. And that's certainly going to create some dust, some blowing snow, and even projectiles. So monitoring a little bit of snow coming into the northern mountains, not enough that we have any advisories for snow or travel, but hey, at least we're getting a little bit of moisture into Colorado. A couple inches of snow, freshen up those ski resorts just in time for the weekend. We start in the 30s, we warm to the upper 60s today. Weather impact alert today, and then we're looking ahead to a calmer weekend. Winter begins on Sunday, and our mild weather trend continues right through Christmas.
I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team's Katie LaSalle. We are bracing for an extreme wind event once again here across Colorado and high fire danger for a big portion of the state, the Denver metro area, southeastern plains. And for the first time ever, the National Weather Service here in Colorado has issued a particularly dangerous situation. The greatest concern, portions of Boulder and Jefferson County due to extreme winds, gusts up to 100 miles per hour possible, low relative humidity, warm and dry conditions. A lot of Colorado bracing for some near record heat, including portions of the Front Range and plains. So with that high fire danger, if a fire were to spark, it could spread rapidly. So we here in Colorado have a lot of planned outages, but also down trees, down power lines. That is hurricane force wind that we're expecting to see at times later on today. It's not to scare you, but just have a plan in case of evacuation, especially in that area where we could see, if we do any fire behavior, it would be erratic and also very dangerous. Across the Denver metro area, so we're seeing the high winds into the foothills and the mountains. It won't be really here for downtown Denver and over the northeastern plains that we see the winds until later on tonight. So we're bracing mainly about 10 p.m. of seeing some of those higher winds and also mountain snow associated with the system, calmer conditions by the weekend.
Farther south in Phoenix, things are looking almost absolutely beautiful. A lot of sunshine and temperatures that have been warmer than normal, actually. We've been seeing a lot of 70s, even 80s in the forecast. Now, once we head on into the Christmas week, we do start to see some changes on the way, which could mean rain heading closer to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Meteorologist Ginger Jeffries with your forecast.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries with a look at your weather out west across Arizona, where we have seen, yes, not just one, but what is going to be 2 weeks of record-worthy conditions. Now, I have to pause before I call it heat, simply because, I mean, we're talking about temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. So compared to the rest of the nation, yeah, I know, well above the normal range, but we're not dealing with flooding conditions. We're not dealing with winds over 100 miles an hour, and we're not dealing with lake effect snow. So I will take this forecast with no complaints. Check this out. We do not have records in the works for you today, but as these temperatures continue to trend up, I think by Sunday and Monday, we will see numbers that are worthy of going down in the record books for December 2025. Flagstaff today, it looks like about 61 degrees. I've got 72 in Globe, 81 in Tucson, 77 in Quartzsite, 76 in Havasu, 64 at the Grand Canyon, and overhead here in Phoenix, we've got nice clear skies as temperatures hit about 79 degrees. Now, let's take a look forward and see where those records could be set. One thing to note here, the records are pretty low, and we're also looking for the peak of our warm-up on Sunday and Monday as we get up to 80, even 82 degrees. Now, as far as tomorrow, don't think it's going to break a record. Same with today. And then on Tuesday, okay, we're within striking distance, so we may meet the record on Tuesday. But again, I am looking for Sunday and Monday for some record conditions. This is actually in line with the same weather pattern that could be bringing around some rain for us by Christmas Eve into Christmas Day and even beyond. We've got this pocket of warm air that's preceding a front that, here we go, it's not just one day, and I know the potential is kind of on the minimal side, but we just have several little bumps in the forecast over the next week going forward that could be a rainmaker for us. So right now, high pressure in charge. Look at these winds. We've got that westerly flow. As we get into the weekend and early part of next week, we start to see those winds shift. We'll get southerly winds, and that is going to allow the jet stream to sag a little bit and bring onshore some moisture. So the immediate impact, wind, then the moisture will come, and then the temperatures will come down. But as you can see, it looks like by Christmas Eve, we've got an opportunity for some rain and even some snow to be pushing on through the region. But this is just the first layer of a series that will be moving through again starting next week as early as maybe Wednesday. But I think it's going to be closer to producing measurable rainfall Thursday and Friday. So Christmas Day and the day after. What do those rainfall totals look like? Okay, nothing really major. It just is a change in the weather pattern from our otherwise perfect conditions. Now today, we also have some wind to talk about through the rim into Navajo Nation. I think it's really closer to the Four Corners area. No wind advisory, but the winds are going to be up. So I'm talking about 20 to 25 mile an hour wind speeds. Nothing that's enough to warrant advisory status. So where's that going to leave us with temperatures? Well, we've got upper 70s headed for the 80s into Sunday and Monday. And then as you can see, those clouds start to build in starting on Tuesday. Our first chance for showers develops on Wednesday. But again, it's going to be cloudy and much cooler after Christmas.
All right, everyone. So when we get back, we are going to head over to the state of California and check out your forecast for San Diego and Sacramento here as we head through the weekend. Yes, leading up into the start of winter, which officially starts on Sunday. More on that after this. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So a lot of the active weather that was across the Pacific Northwest, well, that storm track has now started to track and pivot farther south and will start to include and impact areas down across Northern California. And it's going to be down that way where we are going to see this atmospheric river produce some heavier battles and some heavier rounds of rain. We do have weather impact days for the area. They're starting up on Saturday and lasting, it looks like, all the way into the day on Christmas. Meteorologist Monica Woods has all the details.
I'm meteorologist Monica Woods. A lot to unpack. Major holiday travel impacts from an atmospheric river event that is going to keep the pipeline of precipitation going deep into next week. We're going to break this apart into two separate alerts. The first one is going to be Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with a weather impact alert. That's really the time frame that we see the bigger rain totals starting to come in. Also, the point at which Sierra rain turns into Sierra snow with a lot of changing conditions in the high country. Next up is going to be the second of the weather impact alert. That'll be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, major travel impacts for the Sierra. The valley is going to be cooler with wet travel. As far as the rain totals, they go down just just a little bit, but the accumulated impacts from all of that wet weather is going to be building throughout the region. Futurecast model on the short term showing us a wet Friday afternoon, mainly rain for the Sierra. You can see how some of that warmer air turns that snow over to rain for the higher elevations. Sunday morning, not a terrible day to get out and do some things, but then the next bigger wave of moisture starts to move in. You can see the positioning is going to be right through central California. Again, mostly rain in the Sierra before it starts to turn over to snow by the time we get into our Sunday, Monday timeframe. But in that time period here, we're going to have the potential for excessive rainfall right through the Central Valley, mostly through the Sacramento Valley, through the northern San Joaquin Valley and the foothills. But that sets the stage for accumulated rainfall, causing problems, especially downstream when you talk about rain in the mountains and not snow. By the time we get into Sunday, bigger rainfall totals starting to build. Then Monday, we see colder air working in. We have the potential to build that snowpack starting Monday into Tuesday. But again, we get another pulse of that rain coming in during the day on Tuesday, lingering into Wednesday and Thursday, at which point in the mountains, Wednesday into Thursday, we have major travel impacts. All of that spreads through Southern California. So no matter where you're traveling in California over the holidays, it's going to be messy travel for sure, especially in the high country where we're expecting anywhere from 25 to 60 inches of snow. In the valley, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches in Modesto to about 4 to 6 in Sacramento and up to 6 to 8 in Redding. Those are just rough estimates, but the 8 to 14-day weather hazard outlook puts us right there in the moderate range throughout the valley for heavy rain and a slight to moderate risk there for the Sierra of heavy snow coming in. Day by day, we'll continue to pinpoint some of these numbers and the risk level. Highs for our Friday in the 40s for the Sierra, close to 50 for the foothills. We'll see that pretty much region-wide, pretty uniform temperature pattern here. We've got 50s and 60s along the coast and pretty much that throughout the valley as well. The Bay Area looking at 50s, areas of rain, as well as for the Delta and the coastal valley communities. Northwest coast, it's a rainy one for us with highs in the 50s, 50s in the valley, and we'll take that through the capital region. Not a particularly cool forecast yet. That colder air works in by the time we get into Sunday, into Monday, and we'll continue to stay kind of in that cooler pocket of air leading into next week, just in time for the holiday travel weather impact alert. It starts off Sunday, takes us all the way through Christmas Day, lingering showers into the weekend.
All right, everyone, so it is going to be an active period in California. Now, a lot of that stays across the northern part of the state for the weekend and heading at least into the first part of next work week. As you saw, eventually it does start to head south, and what's, for the time being, a very quiet Southern California will eventually start to turn cooler and, yes, possibly wetter too around that Christmas time. Meteorologist Vanessa Paz has your forecast.
Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Evan Arani in San Diego. We are leading into the holiday weekend with dry skies, but we do have some wet weather on the horizon for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day themselves. Otherwise, though, a fantastic weekend that we are approaching here. Early this morning, we had a dense fog advisory. Didn't really lead to much in terms of actual limited visibility. We had some haze out there, but otherwise, things have been actually looking really nice over the last several hours, leading to some blue skies out by our coastline. It's a welcome sight after Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where we did have quite a bit of that fog out there. All right, high temperatures this afternoon are not going to be quite as warm as they were for the last couple of days, and especially when we look at yesterday. I mean, yesterday was the standout hottest day in some cases of the month so far. We broke many records. High temperatures for today are mainly in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but 70s are more widespread than anything else. 60s are in Carlsbad and Del Mar, 80s are still in Ramona, but it is cooler than we were 24 hours ago when we look at those record breakers. The hottest December 18th on record for Campo, for Alpine. Alpine got all the way up to 85 degrees, breaking a record from 1958. Every single day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and for a good portion of last week too, we were breaking records. So that's why I am heavily encouraging that people be a little bit more welcome to the possibility of wet weather in the forecast. I know it puts a damper on some Christmas Eve and Christmas Day plans that you're making, especially travel plans, but I wouldn't be too concerned about what we have coming our way. And the reason why is because it looks like other parts of the state of California and really other parts of the Pacific Southwest and western states in general will see the bigger brunt of this than San Diego. So let's time it out for you. Between now and Monday, that ridge keeps us dry and blocked out from any wet weather. We zoom in and see that first chance for rain arrive on Tuesday. It's light when we start off on Tuesday, so things are not going to be very widespread. In fact, some of our models don't even give Tuesday that much of a chance for rain. As we get toward Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening, leading into early Wednesday, that chance for rain starts to steadily climb as these darker green and yellow bands move in, showing more moderate precipitation moving in. That's going to mean that Christmas Eve, the 24th, seems to be our best day for precipitation. Some of our models show Wednesday and Thursday kind of within an equal opportunity there. All this wet weather will start to taper off from Friday through the weekend, but again, you just have to remember that any outdoor plans that you had for this Tuesday through Thursday stretch could involve maybe a change in plans, depending on how intense that rain is. The weekend, though, was comfortable. Mid-60s out by the water. Some fog in the early morning stretch, sure, but it's really not going to be bad. Inland valleys, we'll see that chance for rain climb to 80% for Wednesday and Thursday. This is the time that we'd been talking about earlier in the week about having a little bit more clarity on what these forecast models entail. We're getting that clarity. Tuesday, very low chance for rain. Seems like it'll be a lot more scattered and a lot lighter in nature, maybe a few hundredths of an inch up to a tenth of an inch perhaps. Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit heavier, multiple tenths of an inch. And by the end of it, all that wet weather will start to clear out by the time we get to about, I'd say Friday, Saturday time frame. Mountains and deserts are very pleasant over the weekend, widespread 70s. They will cool down quite a bit to the 50s, so enjoy the 70s. And 80s turn over to 70s and 60s for the deserts. Have a great weekend, everyone.
We would like to thank Evan for that forecast there in San Diego. All right, everyone, when we get back, this weekend is the start of the winter season. And we got some stuff to tell you about the winter solstice, as how things are going to change here as we go over the next few months, as they typically do. But we'll definitely give you some of the updates on that and how the forecast could be shaping up for us as we head over the next few months. More on that after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. Guess what? We are almost at the end of the fall season, and that means we're going to be heading into a period where our daylight hours are actually going to grow. We're going to see more time and more daylight time, but it's still going to be a very chilly part of the season. So when does winter officially begin? Well, let's go ahead and tell you about that. That officially begins heading into this Sunday, December the 21st at 7:03 a.m. I guess it's technically less than 2 days away for us now. And on that day, we are going to see a lot of spots picking up and also seeing less in terms of rain or of that daylight. So let's talk about that, because here's a look at how the seasons really work for us. And during the winter solstice, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. And since we don't see as much of that direct sunlight here across the northern hemisphere, that means that things are going to be cooler. Plus, we're going to see those shorter days and those longer nights. And with that being the case, well, that means some of us have to try to find our source of that melatonin from somewhere else. Now, this is how things really shape up for us. Let's go back and start off with January. As far as the amount of daylight that we gain into the month of January, 4 spots farther north, closer to the Canadian border, you're up around 60 minutes, about an hour's worth of daylight gain through the month there. Now, as you head farther to the south, so areas closer to Portland, around about 50 minutes there, as well as in Boise. Then you go farther south of that, 40 minutes around Sacramento and Denver. And then as you get closer to areas such as San Diego and Phoenix, we're picking up about 30 minutes of daylight through the month of January. February, quite a bit more, picking up over an hour, close to an hour and a half up around areas of Seattle and Spokane. And then, yes, the farther south you go, you can see that those amounts are not quite as much, all the way down towards Phoenix and close to San Diego, more around 50 minutes of daylight gain through the course of the month of February. And then for March, this is the month that really starts to crank up the amount of daylight that we see up around Seattle and Spokane again. Over 100 minutes, based on exactly where you are there, and the closer you are to the Canadian border, more than 100 minutes of daylight gain throughout the month of March. Farther south you are, again, around Portland, getting closer to about 90 minutes. In Boise, the same for you. Sacramento and Denver, we're closer to about 70 minutes. And for areas closer to Phoenix, it's closer to about 60 minutes. All right, so here's what we're expecting here as we go throughout the next few months. Areas such as Spokane will pick up closer to about 4 hours of daylight here throughout December, January, February, and March. Boise coming in closer to about 3 hours. We'll be up around 2.5 hours of daylight gain from San Diego and down to Phoenix at about 2.5 hours as well. So this season right now that we're in, it's going to be a winter season, but it's also a La Nina season. And what that typically does is that it brings what are the normal conditions across parts, or at least better chances of that across the Pacific Northwest, drier than normal conditions as you get farther south across areas there closer to the southern part of the country. Why? Well, we get this highly amplified jet stream, and that helps to bring in a bit more of that active weather farther north, while farther south we kind of get excluded from that here overall. So once we head on into the months, we are expecting things to be a bit on the drier side as you head farther south, while areas farther north could be a bit more on the wet side. You can see the Climate Prediction Center's forecast kind of going line in line with that there across areas of the Pacific Northwest, while farther south we're seeing equal chances of things being wetter than normal. While farther south you have those chances a bit higher of being warmer than normal as you head farther south, while farther to the north you can see some cooler than normal conditions here as we head over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So here we go into the season of winter. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for us here on Weather Out West. Make sure to join us back here again on Monday.